egentlig føler vi trenger det etter hvert, men...
det kan lage, det er basically sånn.
Ja.
Oppå her nå. Fordi, jeg vet ikke om du så det, men hele denne her nå, du ser den der, det er bare sånne pins som er printet plastikk, så jeg må bare bore hull hver gang jeg skal ha en pin. Men å flytte denne helt ned, det er ingen problem. Jeg tror det er pinn eller skru på baksiden på så store.
Ja, eller merket til å
skru. Ja, det er skru på baksiden på så store, og så er det kun en pinn på disse. Så det er veldig lett å flytte på den. Man bare drille ut denne pinnen, og så skli den ned, lage nytt hull. Ferdig.
For hvis vi hadde hatt 4 sånne, så hadde alle sammen kunne vært på, så det kommer i en krukke.
Ja. Vi kan se på det sånn her. Nå begynner jeg live straks. Ja, jeg er allerede live, men jeg har på den her nå. Starting soon-greia. Jeg er ganske sikker på at jeg ikke kommer til å få noen viewer, så... Jeg er ganske sikker på at jeg ikke kommer til å få noen views, så... I don't really care. Jeg kan gjøre sånn. Sånn. Da har jeg bare den der. Så kan jeg bare lukke dette. Jeg kan ikke lukke, for da mister jeg den knappen der nå. Det var jævlig måte å finne, fant ut. Men, ja, for nå har jeg den der da. Bare ja, jeg må klare å trykke 3 knapper samtidig. Sånn. Ja, for nå trenger jeg bare trykke der, så går det live. Okay, everyone. Hi. So, plan for today, as you can probably tell, is to make some tool heads for the hermit crab. Let me just get my chat up so I can see if someone actually talks to me. So yeah, I have the hermit crab here right next to me, And I also have all the components that I need to put on there. So I have a couple of, like a selection of parts that I want to put on this. And I don't have a plan right now. So I thought I'd just go through what I was thinking and my troubleshooting process to getting at least one tool head done today. Should be fairly simple because I know how things work. So my main thing that I was concerned about, and I've already done this, is the belt for this printer. This is going on my scalable, so it has a very specific place for the belts. So I had to create this spacer in between the MGM12 block and the hermit crab, so it gets sandwiched in. So for extra little bit of stiffness, I added the these walls around it to make it a little bit more stiff, hopefully. And yeah, so that part's done. I don't have to worry. So the next part is getting the actual hot end on here. And for that, I have some sort of reference in that I have the tool head that's already on that printer. I have that here. So let's get that in. And let's just have a look at what it's going to look like. So I have the same part right here with the belts. So I could probably just remove that. And let's just let's see if I can make some sort of reference. So I'll reference between that point and that point, which should be in the center. So I'll move that to basically the center of the hermit crab. Oops. So the center of the hermit crab, where would that be? I would say it's between this hole and that hole, maybe. Yeah. Let's just go by that. Let's just see how things look. Actually, let's just reference the sides. They're fairly equal. So yeah, that's my reference right now. So this sticks out more than it has to because this part already wants that belt cradle. I don't have to worry about that anymore. So let's just remove that and those screws. And we still have everything kind of lining up. So I'll just move. So I can already see an issue here in that my extruder is hitting the back of this, which is not a good thing. So I can't really go much further back without going up. And how much more up can I go? Like I have to go up at least until the motor clears. So let's go up by about 8. Is that a good number? So yeah, this PCB really gets in my way. Let's see, can we go high enough to clear everything? Yeah, that means the tool head is not gonna hit. So I would have to, let's see, I would have to raise just the order. It's not a bad thing because this isn't set up for speed, so I'm not too worried. If I did that 25, I mean it's still going to work. I do want to move all this in as far as possible. Yeah, it seems good. And I'm not worried about this part because, yeah, I'm not using an actual volcano. I'm using a CHC. Let's just go ahead and get that out of there and put it in that CHC Pro. So I want to move this to here, shall we? Yeah, that looks better already. Okay, so I'll just remove. You know what? I'm just gonna keep this because it works really not right, like good right now. So I wanna keep that, but I need to build a new backing for all of this and make sure that I hit these two holes, this hole and that hole. And looks like I'm super lucky because that just barely clears. Yeah, that's good. So this should give me a nice setup. Like the orbiter is higher than I would want it to be, but I'm not super worried. This is like it's not scalable. It's not super fast printing. It's just big stuff. So let's just start building up something. So for those of you that doesn't know, this is IronCAD. It's quite different to most 3D softwares because I don't do sketches that much. Like I do sketches, but I don't have to base all of my work on sketches. Oops, sorry. So I'm just going to start by putting in a block. And ideally I want that to be this wide. So that's my bases right there. So I'll just, how far down do I want to go? Like, do I need to go that far? Oops. Wrong part. Okay. So the next thing would be to make this, I want to make sure that the hot end fits. So let's just get rid of that and get rid of that and that and that. So I have these holes that I need to put into here, but I also need make sure to add the clearance. That's fairly simple. It's just a so that's 22. Let's make it 23, just for some extra clearance. Okay, so now we have the clearance for the actual ribs. But I need that to be like that. That's better. Yeah. because I need to match. Basically, I need to make a key for this to slot into. So I need to put this here. Make sure it's centered. And then I'll grab that cylinder. Make it as big as that. So that's 11.8. Let's make it 12 for some extra room to make sure. So now, if I go like that, I have that little part right there. So yeah, Ibrahim, this is for my existing toolhead, the one that I started off with. So it's using a V6 heat break. So this one will just use a V6 heat break, but I want to make this high flow toolhead with the CHC and direct drive, but I also want to make a Bowden one that should be lighter and more nimble, that has a smaller nozzle, because this one has 0.6 and 0.8 and 1mm nozzles. So I want to make something smaller, so I'll probably use this because I have one that I'm not using on any other project right now. I'm not sure what this is actually called. I bought it for super cheap on AliExpress like a year ago, so I'm not sure what it is. I took some rough measurements so that I can use it in CAD. I just didn't want to bother about finding this online. So if anyone knows what this is, let me know so I can actually call it the right thing, because I sound a little bit stupid because I have no idea what it is, to be honest. But I also haven't actually looked into it, so that's probably on me. So 15.8, let's make that 16 for some clearance, and then 3.3, let's make it 3.5. So this indexing hole that I'm making right now, it doesn't need to be exactly precise because it's clamping down, so it doesn't actually hold it. It just needs to be accepting. So that'll be the same thing. So 16. I'll make it like that. Then on the other one we added 0.2, so let's just do that in this as well. So now we have a space for that to fall into. Next would be to add something for that. Let's see. That part. Yep. So now I need to make some holes for this to hold on to, which should be simple, right? It's just 2 holes. So I'll grab a hole, line it up to that, push it through, like so. So this is 24.2. Ideally, I'll change this to be slightly shallower because it's already quite big. Like it's already deep. I can make it shallower so that I can use a 25mm M3. So then I'll make it 3.5, and I'll add a heat inserts in the back there. So let's just slide this over to that hole. So now we have those 2 holes, and let's just add the heat inserts spots while we're at it, so I don't forget. So that's 4.6. Let's see. 3.6, and I like to do this 6mm because my heat set are 5mm. So that'll help make sure that it doesn't like fold plastic into itself when you're putting it in. And because ideally I want to print this like this, I'll add in a chamfer on these two holes. So I'll add that one. Oh, sorry, not link, no. I want to push that, copy. I'll put that. Yes, 0010. Yeah, IronCAD is vastly different from most CAD softwares that I've used too. But once I got into it, it's faster. Like it's the main reason why I want to use it. It's because it's faster and I'm able to work as fast as my head thinks. Right. So, and I think like with most softwares, when you start using them, you kind of have to figure out the software first, and then you can start increasing your speed on it. Hey Billy, so we are making a tool head for my scalable. So it's going to get a hermit crab tool changer head. It's not a fancy tool changer. It's manual, but it's this guy. So I have a bunch of parts that I just need to make. At least one tool head for today. I'll make another one later on. Hey Joe. Yes, this is using CPAP. I have CPAP on this printer, so. So let's start working on how this all attaches to the actual hermit, shall we? That would be, because that's things that I can't move. I need to fix those holes first. So let's just see what holes that we can use, and then because I like these holes because they're threaded and there's 4 of them. I know there's 2 more. So let's see if we can make it use that, shall we? That would be at least a little bit smart. And this might be unorthodox from your software and might be for this, but this is how I like to do this. So I'll just clear out the entire thing with a huge piece. I'll go in and I'll delete that piece. So whatever I'm doing now, whatever I draw up, that's going to be holes on the existing piece that I'm working on. So that hole, I like that hole, and that hole, and that hole. Okay. So let's start making. It's not that easy, is it? No, it's not. Because I need to measure. This hole right here. And I don't have a center point. Let's see if we can find something. Is there something on the back side maybe? Let's see. So let's just remove that. Remove that. I can actually delete that. Oops. Okay, so now I have, yes, I have these these things. That'll give me a reference. Yes, I can use that as a reference. Okay, so let's go back to that thing and work on the sketch of it. So if I do a construction project on that, I'll have that center hole, that, and that. So that should give me something. Okay, so this is not an actual, it's not a wrong piece. That's annoying. I need to start looking up the actual measurements. Let's look at the manual. I can figure this out if I can open this box. There you go. So what I'm looking at is these four holes. Let me see if you can actually see these. Yeah. So I need to figure out if I can measure them, because I don't have the exact. Yeah, so it's a tool changer, but not like a tap changer or like an automatic tool changer. It's a two-part system that has a lock. So you'll mount this part to your MGN12 in this case. So it has the holes for an MGN12, and then you'll mount your tool head to this plate, and it has a small PCB that so you don't have to do any reconnecting of wires. You don't have to switch anything. It's all done just by with this part. So this clicks together, and it's a super solid connection. You can't move it. And then if you want to change tool heads, you press down on this lever at the top, take your tool head off, put it back on, or the other one back on. Yeah, so it's not on the fly. No, this is meant for those who just change tool heads sometimes, or you have multiple tool heads on a working machine. If you want to work on one, you can just put on the other one and keep printing. So I have 3 of these plates. My initial plan is to make one for the existing tool head, which is the V6 CHC. And then, yeah, I only need one base, and I have 4 of these. I'm not sure the terminology of these things. So I have 1 of these that's going on the printer permanently. And then I have 3 of these guys. So I can make 3 different tool heads to quickly change between all of this. So my plan is one tool head for a big nozzle with a big melt zone. So that's my CHC with a 0.6, 0.8, or 1 millimeter nozzle, depending on what I want to print. And direct drive, because you're pushing a lot of filament. And then I want to make one more that uses just a normal CHC, not the Pro, with a 0.4 nozzle. And I have a plan on making it a Bowden setup, so I can do both Bowden and direct drive from the same PTFE tubing by locking my extruder on the frame open. Yeah, docking station, cradle. I'm not sure. Like it's a thing. You put on a thing, and it does a thing. I don't know. So let's see if I can measure this. Like any respectable person, I have calipers close by at all times. Okay, so that's a good thing. I was looking at this. So those 4 holes that I'm looking at, they're used by something else. I can't use them. Yes. So I can't use those 4 holes, which is kind of a good thing because they were pain in the butt to find. So let's do 4 other holes. Let's do these top and bottom holes. So this one, this one, this one, and this one, because those are easily accessible, and I can bolt just straight through. I could use these 4, but I feel like they're a little bit hidden away, and it means that I have to take off this PCB if I'm doing anything. Let's see if we can work. So I can work with all of them, but I would prefer the easiest one, right? Because nobody got time for that. So let's just go with projection on that one, that one, that one, and that one. Yep. And I'm probably gonna put in what's the screw size for that. I could probably like find this thing online and yeah, it's using M3s. Okay, so just M3 bolts. That's easy. Let's just make 4 holes then. This is not a circle. That's kind of annoying. Yeah, it's not a circle. Who designs things in CAD and then there's not circles? Is that a circle? No, it's not. It's not a circle. Is anything a circle? No, they're not. Okay. So we're going to do this a little bit differently then. Let's just cancel that drawing. Let's delete that. And then we'll YOLO this. So this makes me think I need to use that hole, because I want to get it. Or should I just lower this entire thing to clear this? It would increase my distance between my direct drive and the actual hot end. Yes, circles are simplified in IronCAD so that you can, it's more efficient on your machine. I don't have the newest machine, so I've just reduced the number of vertices, I think it's called, to make it easier for me to work quickly. So yeah, everything like this curve looks like it's just 3 faces, but it's actually a curve, and it's indicated by this being a smooth surface. If this wasn't a curve or a smooth surface, you would see the lines going down right here. So yeah, IronCAD, you can tinker with this in the settings, but I prefer it to be faster, just because it lets you just move stuff around, no lag, real time. And like I said, I don't have the newest computer out there, but it does work. I'm thinking like the distance between the rail and here, is that good enough? Yes, when it prints, it's going to be smooth, yeah. So, am I happy with the distance between the nozzle and the rail? Or, like, should I go lower? Should I go higher? I'm thinking it's good right there. The only issue being those holes that I want to hit. Because I want to hit these or these. Yes, the hermit crab is supposed to go in an MGN12. It has pre-made hole for it. So I don't actually have an MGN12 on that printer, so I'm waiting for one to be delivered. Should be here soon though. Let's make an addition to this. That'll clear that for. I'm just guessing at this point how much room I'm gonna need. Let's add 3 millimeters. Go to here and add another 3 millimeter. Yeah, load bearing, I don't foresee this to be a big issue. I mean, BQ did design the tool changer part, and I do trust their judgment on this. I don't think they would make this if it didn't support the weight of a tool head. Like, they made this to fit the H2, is it called? So it should be plenty strong enough. Okay, so that should give me a good base to work out of. Yeah, and I'm not really worried about the heat because I'll be printing everything in ABS. This entire thing is meant to be in a heated chamber. Yeah, speed is not the thing for this printer. It's not set up for speed. It can do 10-minute benchies, but that's not its intended use. This is meant for bigger scale printing or mass printing. Because I can do, with the bed being the size that it is, I can do big prints. This CAD is annoying me a bit because, okay, so there's a point and there's a point. Okay, so that should be in the center. Let's reverse it, and then it's 3.5. Okay, so we can't use that hole because it'll touch, or yeah, it's going to be a little bit too tight. All right. Let's use that other hole, that one. Yeah, if this printer was gonna be a pure speed printer, I wouldn't have this tool changing thing on here at all. I'd just make the smallest possible tool head. Okay, so that's one, at least. So that'll probably be a heat insert on this face, so that it'll push, it'll sandwich everything, because the screw is going to be starting here, right, going through. So this will probably be a heat insert. And that's 12, which is actually good. Hey, thanks, Billy. The Sentinel, yeah, I do like the Sentinel. I have it right there. I don't know if you can see, that's a Rook 2020 with the Sentinel, Both of my Rook 2020s have the Sentinel on it, and it's great. I could have used it on this printer as well, but I like because like I said, it's a big printer meant for bigger stuff, not meant for speed. I have the extra room, like I have a ton of extra room, and yeah, why put something small when you can go big, right? So that's 12 millimeters. I need to check. Going through, yeah. How far is that? That's 14. That should be good. 3 different things. Thank you for the confidence. Yeah, Sentinel was just made to be as simple as possible because I wanted to have as little weight as possible because you're already pushing that big extruder on there. So what did I say? This is 14.2. I have M3 by 14, so that's not a huge issue. Yeah, I can put in a heat set at the end here. So let's do that. Sentinel Ender 3, I didn't even think of that. That's cool. Is that like a rail? Do you have an MGN 9 on that Ender 3 as well? Nice. Well, thank you for the confidence in my design. Yeah, MGN 9 on the Ender is easy. You can buy kits or just buy one length. I like that. Maybe I should do that on mine. I still have an Ender 3. It's my workhorse, so not sure if I want to touch it, but if I were, yeah, putting a Sentinel in it should be a fun project. Okay, so let's just measure that one to that 30. So what are the chances? It can't be 30, right? Let's put in another one. It should be down here somewhere. Yeah, so that one. Yeah, switch wire would work. 3.5. How thick did I make this? 3. I need to make it 5. And now I lost that hole. Let me find it. There it is. So that'll be a heat set. Hey zombie. Yeah, this is the hermit crab going on my scalable. I want to make a couple of different tool heads for a couple of different use cases, so yeah, I'm putting bigger stuff on this. So I'm not worried about weight at all. This is not set up for fast printing. Anything above 160, 200 millimeters a second is just a waste on this thing. The belts are too long. 4.6. So what is the measurement between that hole and that hole? 45.95. Yeah, that annoys me as well, especially since I'm moderating for Rolahan, and I keep forgetting that he's streaming. So it's been a couple of times where I haven't had the chance to be there. Okay, so that's the two ones at the top. So I'm just guessing that this one is 30 as well. There you go. So attaching it is now done. And now let's make sure all of this stuff fits. So 2020 Rick to do a sub 15-minute benchy. Yeah, it's a lot of slicing hacks. I ended it an hour ago, yeah. So doing speed benchies is like mostly slicing. I would say don't use Orca Slicer for speed benchies. It just includes a lot of stuff that doesn't need to be there. And reduce your retraction because that takes up time, or just turn it off sometimes and get a lot of cooling. Okay, so next let's work on getting the this orbiter put on there. Yeah, normal sized benchies are I think it's like 28 minutes on my default Rook profiles, which is great. For my fastest speed benchies, I've used Super Slicer. I know Idea Maker has some things that would make it even faster, so it might be something to look into if you're interested in just doing speed benchies. I'm not that interested in doing just speed benches anymore. It was fun for a while, but kind of grow old from it. I did get a 13-minute Sidewinder speed benchy, that was cool. I'm not gonna lie, that made me kind of proud, because I don't think anyone's gonna try to beat that. So let's see if I can. So in case someone's wondering what I'm doing right now, I'm just finding all my connection points and making sure that I can connect everything together, and then I'll start slicing out what I don't need later. So my 13-minute one looks pretty decent. It's on my YouTube channel if you want to have a look. It's decent for what it is. It's a huge bed slinger. Too many benchies. Yes, I have too many benchies. Right now, not here. I don't do benchies when I'm here. Over at the studio, yes, I have way too many benchies. Like it's a crime on how many benchies I have there. Okay, let's get this 1.6 by. I like to do this a little bit longer than I have to. Let's do 10 so that there's room for the heat setup in there. Let's copy and put that to that center point. There you go. Orbiter is mounted. Next would be like a filament path between this and that. So I'll probably, like, should I just have this open? Or just a hole for the PTFE? That's probably something to think about. Because I don't want to just have a hole for the filament. I want to put PTFE between these two. That's important for me. Let's have a look at. Yeah, let's make it as just a hole. Not sure why I didn't want to, but that's okay. 25, yep. And a PTFE tube is like 4 millimeters, isn't it? Or am I just... Easier for maintenance, yes. But it also means that the orbiter has less structure to it. I need to figure out my spots and what mounts to this first, and maybe I'll change it after. So 4.2 for a PTFE. That should be plenty. Because right now you would put this in, and then you would slide your PTFE down, and then put your extruder on there. Yeah, that seems okay. So here we have our first issue. So I'll probably solve this by just adding a... Yeah, let's just quickly solve that. Software doesn't want a software. There we are. Let's make that something big, like 8. Yeah. Chamfer, fillets, same child, different name, I guess. Oh, thank you. Candy. So yeah, so now we have the hot end mounted. That's okay. Next, it's either this, like, I don't like this set on the current setup. I want to remove that. So I want to get this micro probe somewhere else. Yeah, snack break. I think it's forced snack break. My girlfriend just handed me a bowl of snacks. I'm not complaining. Like, I should find somewhere else to put this micro probe, or even just another way of mounting it, because that's an issue right there. Just means I have to pull my micro probe off before I can unscrew the screws for the fan, which was annoying. Maybe I should put the micro probe to the side. So like here. Let's see how that would look. Come on. Here we go. So let's put it off to one side. Stacked with snacks. Yeah. Well, I'm cheating because my girlfriend works in a candy shop. So the fact that I don't have diabetes is a miracle.
It's just been less than a year. Just wait.
Yeah, microprobes are kind of cool because they're super small, and the fact that they're metal makes it even less, or sorry, more accurate, I would say. So I can't change the Z height for this micro probe. And I'm kind of locked in with the 30 by 10. Like, no, it's not a clone of the BL Touch. Well, technically, they're using the same technology, but it's much smaller. And to me, the actual Pro part, it feels less wiggly. Like, do I have one? Yes, I have one. Let's see. So my issue with the BL Touch is that this little thing, it's on a BL Touch, when it's extended, it's super wiggly and it moves. But if you extend this one, it doesn't really move that much. Like it's not firm, but it's way better than the BL Touch and the 3D Touch clones. Packaging. Now the original location was, like, placement was good. It's more mounting it that was an issue. So the thing is, I wanted to use all 4 screws on the fan housing, because I've had issues with just using 2 screws on the fan, and it kind of starts rattling. And with this being mounted to the same part, like I could have it in the same spot, and then just not have the screws go with, like, the heads go all the way through. So I think this part I could just take away, and I'll make something that just trying to think. You know what? Let's start off with what we know that we can make work right now, and then I'll tackle the actual blower, because that is something that I'm going to use. I won't redesign it because I'm really happy with the actual. Yes, the holes interlocked. That was the issue, and if I can get it mounted to the actual tool head instead of mounted to the fan, that would be better. At least that's what I like to think would be better. So let's make this thing first. Why didn't you go where you should? Let's do that, and 2.2 for clearance. Let's make that 8. Yep. That looks good, right? Let's put in a spot for a heat set. And I need 4.6. And then as always, I like to make these longer than I have to, as long as I have room. So 10 is a good number. Yeah. So I'll grab those 2, and I'll do a point to point. And because I know that's centered, I can do a mirror copy, and I should have it. I'll put that. Yeah. So there we go. That's 2 points done. And these ones are simple because the this thing is exactly the same width. Just make sure. Yep. So let's just put in some holes right there for heat sets. And those are 4.6 by 10. Yes. And let's just copy that. Let's do point of edge, select that edge, mirror, copy, and done. So now we have that hole right there, don't we? We should. Yep, there's a hole. So now the cooler is connected. So that's an issue, and that needs to be solved. So I can either just do chamfers, or I can do something that looks a little bit more fancy. So yes, this duct, there's a specific reason for this shape, which is to make it fit anything that I want to do to this, because the scale of it is an evolving project. Like I never get happy with it. So the shape is to make it more universal, to make more room for hot ends down the line. I can always make a different one, but I like the mounting system for this. And so redesigning the duct to work with this should be easy. And with this, I don't have to take the duct off to take the hot end off and stuff. But yes, Joe, removing this 90 and making it a 45 should be better for flow. I need to get a better fan because I'm still using that 120 adapter that I made, which is not ideal, but it does work. So let's just chamfer these. Should be better. Come on, select, yes. And that looks a little bit weird if I just do equal. So let's do that one. Something like that. 6 by 8 maybe. Yeah, that looks better. Let's do the same to the other one. So that will be 8 by 6. Yeah, so this printer will be set up mostly for ABS, but I don't want to be limited by not having cooling to do PLA at high flow, because I've printed some big vases, and being able to do that in PLA or PETG and just go really fast it's fun, because you can max out the flow of your hot end, which is it's just more fun, to be honest. And I can, with this hot end, you can go quite fast, even though you're flow restricted mostly. Let's just say I'm not cooling restricted when printing on this thing. So the next thing would be to add something for that fan. So I'll remove this. PETG is surprisingly easy once you get it, but you need to get it. That's, I think, the issue. If you don't get it, then Yeah, it's annoying. How about I move that one out by a bit, and I can move this one in by a bit, like that. I'm not sure if the Hey William, or Bootstrap. Yes, this is for my scalable rook, my giant scalable rook. Like, would that be too close? Like, I'm not super confident in it being too close or not. And if I switch it around, the cable is going to get even closer. Like, I can try that. Let's see how it looks. Anyways, okay, that's too close. Yeah, that's way too close. But I can now move it out. I mean, is that too close? I mean, it doesn't look horrible, does it? At least not in my opinion, at least. So let's just stick to it there and work on the fan part for now. So for the fan, I just had an idea. Let's do a 3mm wall right here. Connect that with that, and I think this is one of those cases where I'm just gonna YOLO it and see if it works. I'll quickly realize if it's too close. At least I should, right? So now I need a hole for that. I can grab that hole because I already have it. Just move it down and it's done. So I need to get air in to this, but I also need to get air back out. Yeah, it'll work until it doesn't. That's true. It's just like a $25 mistake, right? I've done worse. I've set things on fire, so that's okay. So I want to get air in, that's easy. But air out, what if I made like some channels that kind of went out through here? I could do that, yeah. So let's just work on mounting the actual fan. Well, fire can be fun, right? So, not the worst thing you can do. As long as you have it under control. That's probably the part where I could have done something better. Okay, so that's a good platform for the fan. Let's put in a hole to it. if you have any questions about IronCAD, just let me know. I'll try to answer them. I have 0 actual training in IronCAD. This is all self-taught. So my advice may not be correct, but it's gonna get you there. Oops. Keep misclicking stuff. That's the one. I'll see you. Oh, Titan, yeah. I'll see you around. Let's copy 3 of those at 90 degrees. Or, nope. Let's actually make it the right size hole first. Let's do 2.75. That should be enough to thread into plastic, because I don't need this to have heat certs. I do 2 center point. Let's copy 3 of them at 90 degrees. There you go. So now I have something for the fan to mount to. I can just remove that. So next thing would be adding something for this. And what I've done in the past with microprobe is just threaded holes, because you need M2.5 screws, otherwise you need to drill out these things, and I don't want to do that because they're fragile. So I'll just do the same as I just did. I'll just put a hole here, make it 2.75, and I'll make it, let's see. Well, the first thing I should have done is make it a spacer, right? Because that's not gonna work like that. And I can get that plug in and the cable going out to the side. That's not a big issue. At least I think so. Let me double check that. This is why having parts while you're designing stuff like this makes it a little bit easier, more efficient, because you can just, like, if I had this question, I didn't have the part, I would have to wait for the part. So yeah, I can make that work. I can get that through. So that shouldn't be an issue. Okay. So let's put that away so that I don't lose it again, because I keep doing that. So let's just put a block on here. This should help indicate where to put your microprobe. 0.988. Oh, yeah, that'll work. Let's put that like that. Now I can just put in some holes. Two center points. 2.75. So it's not a lot of plastic, but it's more than enough to hold our microprobe on. Oh, come on. So let's put that to there. Yep. And I wouldn't mind it if the screws stick up. That shouldn't be an issue. Yes. This is looking better. So print orientation would be my next thing. So I want to print this flat, right? So like that. Let's move all of that out of the way and work on print orientation and aesthetics. So this is going to be an issue. I want to fix that. So I can do that, and then let's see. Okay, so it doesn't like that. What does it like? Let's just cheat. Let's cheat. Hey, radio. Let's put that on the other side as well. I'm sorry, I do not. I'm horrible with remembering names. So unless I talk to you every day, I'm sorry. Let's make a copy of that. Okay, so we have both sides done. So next thing would be a way to evacuate all the air from that. And what I'm thinking is I can just make a big old hole here. So this is IronCAD radio. It is sort of like Tinkercad found some steroids in Dad's drawer. So it's a it's a big program, and this use case is very, very small. But I do like it. It's mostly an industry software, not for tinkerers. So what if I do this? Yes, I like the look of that. Hey ABG, this is IronCAD. It's a different software than what most people use. I don't think I know anyone else that uses this in the 3D printing hobby. It's not common, let's just say. So let's try to make something out of this, because I want to get into, let's just hide all of that. I want to get air in, and this entire back piece is blocked. So I want to get air out through the sides, through there. So let's make a duct that I can just feed through easily. So let's reference, let's offset that, and where are we on the inside? Yeah, so that. I'm just looking at my limitations at this point. I just want to figure out where my, like what kind of space do I have to work with. So ideally I want to make something that kind of swoops. I was about to use my fingers to show you. I want to make something that swoops out like this, but I want it to go as far down as possible because like I'm cooling this heatsink, right? So preferably it'll just go out like this with a little bit of a shape to it. So let's just start making lines and see where we end up. So I'll probably just stick with that. That's easy. And something like that maybe. Like that'll be tricky to print. That might be an issue. But let's just look at how that's gonna look. Okay. So that'll give me a box shaped like that, so I can move it wherever I want to, and I want it to go to there and then to there. So that's a nice little cooling duct. But where does that end up? I mean, it'll work. There's going to be one on the other side as well, but and that, what hole is that? Okay, so I can shorten that. That's not an issue. So let's just grab those two and make them 6 millimeters. Like anything, they need to stay at least 5. That's my limit on these. So this will print like a giant overhang. So probably make this, so that's 21.7. What if I make it 9? And then I'll make another one. And I'll put that, let's see, to there. And I'll make that one 9 as well. I can probably make them a little bit bigger. So that'll give me 1.7. That's more than enough. Yep. That seems like a decent way to go about it. All right. So let's grab those two and copy them to the other side. Oops, not move, copy. Come on. Mirror, copy. There we go. So now the air can get out. And I can just put this like that. Yeah. So my issue with leaving it as a big hole is that I want to print this in a single piece laying down. And that's just going to be enormous. I could put fillets in the inside. I could. I do like the structure of that. So I can thin out that part. So let's just make it like point backwards a little bit more. Something. Let's do distance. So let's do that one 4 and that one like 12 maybe. Like I still want to have some structure in here. Or do I just add in these guys lower Like I could make something. Fillets for the win. Yeah, fillets does change designs for the better in the most part. Let's see. So I want to get as much air as I can get through here. So that's better. So that has some room to escape. And I could probably make these guys a little bit. So I could probably make it so that these guys are not this tall. Let's just do that. I'll just remove those. Grab that one. I'll do that maybe. That looks better, right? Oops. Yeah, that's better. So let's grab that guy. Venturi, yeah, could do that. I find that highly overdoing it, and more time than I'm worth, probably. So let's link them for future reference. All right. So let's grab that one and that one. Midpoint, all edge, mirror, link. So that's better, right? That'll get all the air out. So now I'm looking at like the inside of this needs to be fixed, right? Because I can't print this. So what'll we do for that? Yeah, over engineering is a deep rabbit hole to get into, right? Because you can spend hours, if not tens of hours, on a project and just realize that you've overdone everything and spent way more time than you needed. Not that that's a bad thing, though. Let's see. Let's get that. Let's see. That part? No. That part back. Yes. Oh, it's... Of course. So I've got these two parts. Right now I need to slide the heatsink in, which based on my experience does not work because that hole cannot be round, just for practical purposes. So let's make it not round. Yeah, so I had the fan part be detachable on my last design, and I didn't like it. It was just harder to put everything together. I would rather have this be one big piece to print. So we're at this moment. I'm looking at like how I could print this easier. If I did, let's see, if I took all of these ones, I don't need them to be this long. They maybe need to be like 5 millimeter to yeah, I can make these like, so the fan is 10 millimeters. So 15 would be bad. No, 16 is better. So let's make it 16. I'll probably put a fangirl on there as well. Let's see. Can I just do that? I mean, if it works, right? Let's do distance again. Pull it down. Pull that in. Doesn't want to. Okay. So 8 by okay, so giving the underside of the fan mount the same curve as the V6. So the issue with that is that I need to slide the V6 in through this hole and then get it into the that grooves, right? So I need enough space to tilt it. So get it in and then tilt it up and slot it into there so I can put that piece back on to clamp it in place. And I think this is enough. Like I said, I have a similar setup. Let's just do a save quickly. I have this similar setup. Like this is my tool head right now. Oops. Let's move that out of the way. So this is my tool head right now, and I can barely squeeze that V6 in like that. So this works, but I have this annoying thing right here that holds the micro probe. So by moving the micro probe in, the fan out should give me a little bit more stability. And I think this would work. I could probably do some trickery on this edge to make it print better. So let's make another one of these. That's 8, and that's isn't it 1, 2. Hey, Tastegun. Yeah, so that I think will print just fine. A loft could work, yes. The thing that I really need to do right now is just make sure that this curve becomes a straight edge, right? So quick and dirty, I could add in this guy and like that. I'll pull this boy up and -2. No, let's do that -1. Let's just push that all the way to 8. Right? And then I'll just copy that. So that becomes a straight line instead. And then to fix that, I would simply add a chamfer to that. And can I even see that part? Peekaboo. Okay, so that becomes an issue. Okay, I can just make this lower, right? 5. Okay, so that fixes that issue. So let's make that 4. Right? That works. Let's do the same on that edge. And done. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it'll get me there, right? And I want to make this a little bit cleaner. This doesn't need to be there anymore. Right? Yes. And also I'll do that. Mostly for my own conscience. There you go. It's a nice little thing. So that should have enough room to get all the air in and all the air out. So the microprobe is on. The prototype of my air duct is on. So right now it's mostly down to, I mean, I should be able to, let's just, I'll probably want to reduce the bulk of this thing, right? It's a little bit too much, maybe. Can I make that? Let's see. Can I make that use the same shape as the orbiter? How would that look? So if I did like a project on that and that. Let's see. Like that, right? And in my experience, the orbiter is not symmetrical. Like so. And as most of my toolhead designs, I don't design them to work first try, right? I want to try something out and then I'll redo it. And yeah, it's kind of like you keep redoing stuff until you make it work. Let's oops. Let's do that and that. Should blend in nicely, right? That's not too bad. I've done worse. So everything should be fairly easily accessible, right? It's those two to take the entire hot end out, or the heatsink, I should say. It's 4 screws to take off my cooler. 4 screws for the fans. That's pretty decent. And I don't need any cable management because everything just connects to the hermit crab, so that's easy. Yeah, this is looking kind of good. So that's been an hour and a half. I think I'm gonna end it for today. I'll get this printed, and maybe I'll do a short or maybe even a stream when I put this on. That stream probably won't be planned. Anyways, I'll hang out in the Rollhound Discord when I'm in my workshop as much as I can, at least. How do I like the hermit crab? Well, I haven't tested it. Quality-wise, just looking at it, it seems like fantastic quality. The finish, all the PCBs, just the let's see, let's just grab it, right? So just by like, there's absolutely no movement, and it's simple to take off and on, or take off and put back on. There's a lot of connections, so way more connections than I'm gonna need. Comes with extra cables. It comes with 3 of these in one base. Yeah, I'm excited to get this fitted onto my printer and just see how it's gonna work out. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll try to do these a little bit more often. I might even do requests for designs if people are interested in that. I know there's a lot of people that doesn't have the patience or the time to start getting into CAD and stuff, and they want some CAD stuff done. So I might just start doing that on live streams because it's like the one thing that I actually know how to do. So perfect for prototyping toolheads. Yes, it is, and that's one of the main reasons why I asked BQ for this. And yes, they did sponsor me, so big shout out to BQ. Because yeah, I can make one toolhead while I'm printing with the other, and I can assemble it and just put it on, test it. If it doesn't work, pull it off, put the other one back on. So instead of having to disassemble my entire printer, I can just grab this off and start printing again. AliExpress version of the bamboo hot end with a CHC. So I'm putting a CHC Pro in this AliExpress version of the bamboo hot end. Do you mean the actual bamboo or the CR10 version of the bamboo stuff? Because designing for that hot end is fairly simple, and I can probably make something quickly for that. So let's make sure we save this. Yeah, CR10 version would be fairly simple, yeah, because you don't have to clamp your hot end or your heat break in, heat sink, sorry, in. So yeah, it's smaller than this this heat sink too. So I might do a, CR10 version of this. If this works, then maybe. I'm not sure because it's a pretty like my setup is kind of specific to my printer. I don't think there's many people having a scalable with a hermit crab, but hermit crab tool heads in itself should be pretty universal. So that might be an option. The General CHC Pro, yeah. Well, if you can get the AliExpress version of bamboo, then the CHC also they also sell the CHC on AliExpress. So looks very functional. Yes, I'm not an aesthetic builder. I design things to work. I look at function before form. It's important. Anyway, I think I'm going to end the stream there at an hour and 40 minutes. Thank you, everyone. Please subscribe if you haven't. And if you have any questions or you want to request me to do something CAD work for you, send me a message on Discord, and I'll see if it's something that I want to do. And I might start doing live streams, just doing CAD work for other people. And yeah, thanks for sticking with me. I know I'm not exciting, but I tried. So I'll see you later.